Hi everyone, it's Brittany, your friendly plant-loving internet stranger, and today we're going to be talking about the string of pearls. Now the string of pearls is native to South Africa and it is one of my favorite plants. It is a trailing succulent that has green pea-shaped leaves, giving the plant a string of pearls appearance. Contrary to popular belief, it is a very low maintenance plant and should be treated as other succulents or cacti are treated. This means that it does not require a ton of water. Water it sparingly, although it can also survive in direct sunlight. The string of pearls prefers to be in a warmer area. So if you live in a colder environment, make sure that your plant is not near any drafty windows. Because this plant is native to South Africa, which is pretty dry, it does not need a ton of humidity. Average humidity is fine for the string of pearls. Keep in mind that this plant is toxic if ingested and should be kept away from small children and pets, or generally speaking, anybody that would try to eat it. Just don't do that. The string of pearls can easily be propagated. Simply clip off a 2 to 3 inch piece and lay it on soil, node side down. If you're having trouble stabilizing the nodes in the soil, you might want to use a greening pin to help with that. This plant can also be water propagated. Just take the clipping and remove a few of the pearls so that the node is exposed, and put that clipping into water so that the node is submerged in water, and in a few weeks you'll have some really thin roots appearing. I have had really good experiences with string of pearls. I have several of them in my home. This one is just a classic green string of pearls, and then this one is a variegated string of pearls. I find these plants to be very low maintenance. They are really easy to take care of. They don't need a ton of humidity. Think about them as succulents. They're pretty much native to the desert region, so they don't require a ton of anything. They don't need a ton of water. They don't need a ton of humidity. They need a lot of light. I have most of my string of pearls sitting or hanging in a southern facing window, so they get direct sunlight and they're fine. I haven't had any issues with them burning. They actually seem to really enjoy being in the southern facing window. Put them in your sunniest window if you have them. Put them very close to the window or put them under a grow light so that they can get adequate light. They will really start to take off. You'll see that the pearls grow really plump and you will start to get that beautiful cascading trail of the strings of pearls. While this is a pretty easy plant to propagate, you want to keep in mind its natural habitat. For some plants, I can propagate in a propagation box that has a lot of humidity. That works for some plants. Some plants love that. They'll root in that and they will survive in that plant box for as long as you have it in there. String of pearls, that doesn't really work for them. They don't like a lot of humidity. They really do not like a lot of humidity. If you put them in a grow box or a propagation box that has a greenhouse effect, what will start to happen is the roots may grow because the greenhouse box does accelerate the root development, but the plant itself will start to shrivel up and get very mushy because it's just taking in too much moisture. What I find to work the best is to put potting soil, just regular old indoor potting soil, in a container, in a pot, and lay the clippings on top of it, node side down. I will usually secure it with the greening pin to prevent it from moving around once I water it. But I will put it there, water the plant, and make sure that, you know, enough of the nodes are connected in the soil so that once it starts to grow, it'll actually grow in the soil as opposed to just growing outward and then dying because it's not making contact with the soil. Once it starts to grow, you pretty much have a second plant. I have propagated so many of these plants this way and it always works well. To speed the process along, I will put a little sheet of plastic wrap, just regular old saran wrap. Mine is not saran, it's Target brand. So Target brand plastic wrap, I will put that on top of it to create a little bit of a greenhouse, but I will leave it open slightly. You can secure it by just, you know, kind of wrapping it around, or you can use a rubber band to secure it to the top of the pot that you're using and just make sure that it's not completely sealed. If it's completely sealed, you're going to have the same issue as if you were propagating it in a humidity box or in a propagation box. It'll be too much humidity. But if you leave just a little bit open, what will happen is it'll create enough of a greenhouse effect to expedite the growth process for the roots. And after a few days or a week or so, take a look at it. If it looks like there are new pearls starting to sprout from the strings, or if you can tell that the plant has been stabilized in the soil, that means that the roots have started to develop, and you can take that plastic wrap off because the greenhouse effect did its thing. So a quick recap of the string of pearls. It doesn't need a ton of water. It needs a lot of sunlight. Average humidity is fine. Too much humidity will turn it into mush. It's easy to propagate. It is truly a low maintenance, set it and forget it plant. Let me know in the comments if you have any experience with the string of pearls. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.